Come streaming down your face when you lose something you can't replace, when you love someone but it goes to waste. Could it be worse? Lights will guide you home and ignite your bones, and I will try to fix you.
So, Nicole, you wanted to channel your dad. He came through actually really well. So the first thing, how long has he passed away?
He passed away on September 24th.
Yeah, it didn't feel like very long. And really what he shows me is him actually not completely crossed over. He's crossed over to the light to an extent, but he shows me, he's like, I have 1 foot in this world and I have 1 foot in the other world. He's like, it's never ending, and he's holding on because he doesn't want to let go. So what he's showing me, and I get chills all over. So he's standing right behind you. There's things that he needs to be released and be told that he needs to be allowed to go. And there's things that he needs to release. Like there's people, like I see 3 women who are connected, and he has people that are holding him back. It's like he feels like he has responsibilities. He's like, I can't go. I have responsibilities to all these people, and I'm their strength. If I go, how are they going to do it? They need me. So he needs to be told that the other side, he can still help you guys. Also, you guys need to do it though, because it's 3 that had the major impact on him. Okay. So it's like let me see here, and I will I'll send the picture of the reading to you also so that you have it. He shows me it's just too much responsibility that's holding him up, but he needs to be allowed to finish crossing over. And 1 foot on one side and 1 foot on the other, that's not good for his energy. What happens is spiritual energy, it's not really, when our loved ones cross over, they're not really gone. They're just a different form of energy. Needs to be allowed to heal after he crosses. He needs to feel like he needs to process his complete life and process everything that he's learned, all the lessons he put through, all the lessons you guys put him through. He needs to be able to process all of that. And he's not being allowed to do that yet because he needs to be given permission to completely cross over. Because I feel like your guys' grief holds him there, but it's his grief too. So because he's like, if he feels like it's too much unfinished business for him. Like it was too late for him to help you manifest what you wanted the way he was supposed to. He's like, I literally missed the boat. Like I didn't realize until it was too late the steps that I should have been taking in the first place in order to lead them down the path they were supposed to. Because I feel like I missed that boat, and if I leave, I'll never be able to help them finish it through. So you guys need to let him know that it's okay that he completely crosses over, because he'll be able to help you from the other side. That's the point. But he needs to be given permission. Okay, because he feels like earthbound. So he's part like earth right now and spiritual. He's stuck right in the middle. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any questions on that?
No, I think it's because I wasn't ready to let him go.
And yeah, and a lot of times too, our grief will hold on to our loved ones, but it's holding on to that knowledge that he's not really gone. He's literally right here. It's just learning how to tap into it a different way. Our loved ones are it's a different spiritual energy. These are just vessels holding our souls. And so when the vessels give out. It just, and they cross over to the astral, they take on a different kind of vehicle. It's called the causal vehicle, and they go through the life review and they just hold energy in that form. It's learning how to tap into that energy versus the 3D energy. That's what love's all about. And that 5D energy is learning that it's all about a different energy and learning how to tap into that vibration frequency, allowing your grief to pass. And like he's still there, you'll start to get your answers, but you have to give him permission moving forward. You have to allow him to, because it's not good for your energy and it's not good for his. Okay.
Yep.
Do you have any more questions?
No.
No? Okay. All right. So feel free to message me later if you come up with any questions. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Don't hesitate. Well, we'll talk to you later.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. All right, Miss Rhonda, you're next. Are you there? Can you still hear me?
Yes.
All right, so you wanted me to try and tap into your daughter, Dante, that passed away, what, 6 years ago, correct? So
Yes.
he did come through, so hopefully what I channeled will make some kind of connection to you, because he was kind of in and out with how I was connecting with him. It was like bits and pieces. He was kind of jumbled all over the place. Like I almost feel like where he, like all of a sudden, boom, he was there and he has no idea how he got there. It was just like, because he showed me, he's like literally, and I'm getting the chills. He's like, I don't even know how I got here. I don't even know where I am. And it took him a long time to kind of just kind of back and forth with the information that he was feeding me that I was channeling. The first thing he started to give me, he was like, the heart, even if you could only see it in bits and pieces, it was always the heart. And I feel like that was kind of a message to your daughter. Like he really did always love her. It was in her heart, even if at times it was kind of see it the word shady or maybe not all there. It was there. It just, that's how I could express it. Is I could only afford to give a little bit of me at a time, because my mind was always in 50 other different places. Like his energy was everywhere. And so she had his whole heart, but he does regret not being able to give it the way he wanted to. Like, because I was a million miles a minute and I was all over the place, but that doesn't mean that I didn't love her with my whole heart. And he shows me that he's still strong in her energy. So showing me flowers. Does she ever think she smells a funny smell or like a flower-like smell that comes from nowhere?
I will ask.
Okay. Showing me is like that's how she knows. That's how she knows that I'm there. Is that he's like awkward silent. A lot of awkward silences, but he shows me, whenever she feels like she smells that perfume smell or those flowers, that's him sending her flowers. That's him, that he's there in that moment connecting with her. Okay. Because the next thing he started showing me was there's so many responsibilities. He goes, so many decisions and so many things to choose from, but there was too many, like overwhelming, and he could not handle that. He just couldn't deal with it. It was just not his forte to be able to deal with a lot of choices. He did show me car, like him getting in a car, like near and far, because I don't need to go. I didn't know where to go. I just know that it was a bumpy road. And then like going over things over and over again in his head. And then, some things you just can't take back. So I was going to ask if he either had done something to hurt himself or he had committed suicide. Because for me, that's what it felt like, where, that was my take on the car thing. Like, he really had no idea where he was going.
What happened was they had been together. They had gotten engaged, and they decided, they literally had their life planned out. They had their children named already, everything. Like once they got engaged, they literally planned the rest of their life. They had put a bunch of stuff in storage, sold their vehicles, bought a camper. They were going to go to Colorado, work for a few months, up the money, and then travel in the US. And when they came back, they were going to, they both were able to get their, to get both their back. They were going to buy a house. They were going to get married. We had this wedding plan that we were going to do. It was going to be amazing. When he wasn't, so they made it as far as getting their stuff in storage, getting the camper. They made it to Colorado. They had been there for a few months. They were working on saving that money so they could travel the rest of the U.S. and come back. On his very last day of work, somebody do a sting where it was a minor dress up as an older person to see if he would card them. And because she didn't look like she was a minor, or I should say under 21, he served alcohol and he got a ticket. So they were going to have to go to that, and they were going to have to stay another month for that court date. And so he was just really, so they were really angry because they were ready to leave like the last day, and they were going to leave Colorado that day, and they were going to, so he was walking home that happened, and he was really upset, and he was walking his bike and he got hit by a car.
Okay, so that's where the car thing comes from. Okay. All right. Yeah, that's how he doesn't. Yeah. So I don't even know where to go. It was just a bump.
So, yeah. And
okay.
I don't think, and I don't think he had way too much ahead of him. And he, even though that really sucked that happened that day, and he was having a really bad day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like he had so much going for him, but the driver wasn't held accountable for the accident. So it's really hard for us to have, not to sound stupid, but it's hard for us to have closure, because like if somebody has a cancer, you can be mad at cancer, you can be angry at cancer. Yeah. We don't have anybody to blame, and it's just, he was only 20 and they literally had the rest of their life ahead of them, and it's just, we don't have any closure. Yep. Like we did a memorial. My daughter did an amazing life celebration for him.
It just feels like, you know, well, because you feel there's no justice, and so that's why he shows me like I have no idea how I got here. I feel like he really, like, it happened so fast, like literally no pain. So hold on to that information, because he literally, like, that's what he told me. He's like, I don't even know how I got here. There was like a lot of confusion. He showed me darkness, and sometimes that's why I asked it. Sometimes when I'm connecting with that has committed suicide, they're like, I don't even know how I got here. I don't even understand. But you know, that makes sense with the car and the bumpy road and something going over and over in his head. And it's like you said, something that's sad. It's just, you know, that's just the way of it. He's like, he said it's been a long road for him. So he's showing me, like, at first he did struggle with the crossing over because he didn't know where he was at. He didn't get it. Like, it took him a while to process, because he hung around you guys for a very long time. Like, he wasn't going anywhere.
That and my daughter, I'm freaking out about how freaked out my daughter was, obviously, because her entire life, like, how I try to explain it to people, imagine somebody gives you the absolute perfect package. Like, it's wrapped perfectly, it has a perfect bow, and all of a sudden the bottom completely breaks out and it just falls out and it's ruined. Like that's so it was obviously very freaked out. She actually went to a phase where she wanted to die. She still, it's been 6 years, she still struggles with the loss of him, because there was never, you always see somebody, you always find a couple that you're envious of because they are truly the most perfect couple that you've ever saw there, and that was them too. They had the exact same quirk. He would do stuff for her he did a million little things for her. Like she would get in her car and say, "Hey baby, while you were sleeping, I filled your car up. Love you."
Oh, yeah.
What he didn't have to do. So like when he said he gave a little bit, that's exactly it. He didn't do a million big things. He did a bazillion little bitty things for her. Like if dishes needed to be done, he didn't say, "Hey baby, I'm like doing 10 now. Can you do dishes?" He would do dishes. Like they were just so perfect together. Really like the couple that everybody was jealous for because they were so perfect. And she's struggling, and that was the only time that she ever felt like she was the truly happiest in her entire life, because she's been through a lot. And and that's another thing she struggles with. She's trying to get on with her life, but she don't know how, because that part of her is still missing.
Well, he shows me that he's at peace. Like he's at his throat, but I'm at peace. And the biggest message, now this is where he came through loud and clear. He's like, I needed to leave so that, he goes, as weird as it sounds, so you could be complete, because you would have to see things differently. It's like, it was sort of like what he shows me is a contract. Okay. We have a contract where we're going to come together and it's going to be true love. And I'm going to teach you all these things in the works. I'm going to teach you how to love, and I'm going to teach you how to be loved. And so moving forward, when you start to live the rest of your destiny, you take those things with you, because they're lessons of what it really is, what it loved and to love. And so it's more like, it's that closure that they lived the time they were supposed to live. And he's there supporting her now to move forward and to find new love and bring new love into her life and know her worth. Because he shows me like 3 options. There's 3 options. She could get together with a guy that has a lot of money and would take care of her, but he's going to be a jerk. She could get together with a guy that doesn't have very much of anything, but because he has so much lack in his life that he's going to have lack for her. Or she can find the one that she recognizes love with, because she recognizes the sign of what people do when they really do truly love you. Sort of like that. She was meant for bigger things, different job to show her work. She could move into those bigger things. Like, because I'm always going to be her guardian angel. I'm always there with her. I'm not gone. I'm there. But she needs to move forward and move into the destiny that she was meant to, because she's meant for bigger things, and it's all about love. He's like, I needed her to see things differently so she wouldn't be blinded by the light, side by side, no matter what. But it's sort of like she needed the whole picture. That was time to go. He chose that. We all choose how we're going to go. He fulfilled his contract with her of that truth. And I feel like too, it's like a past life thing where it wasn't fulfilled for him to give her that support. Once he fulfilled that, it was time to move on. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Do you have any questions on that?
No, it's just hard. It's just,
I
don't think anyone could ever rationalize losing somebody at 20. And even though he wasn't my child, he was already my son. He was already a part of my family. And so devastating. And then watching her go through what she went through, and as a mom not being able to do anything to help her, like nothing you could do, or it was hard. It's still, even though it's been 6 years, it still feels like it, because we loved him that much.
Well, it was a traumatic event. It's not like, and it doesn't take away from people who are sick and already it's coming, because that's just as hard. But when somebody is so young with everything in front of them, and it just gets ripped out from, not by neglect of somebody else, but for all of you, that's loss. And so I'm glad that he come through and he give those messages about, that confirmation and that validation. He's not gone. that he walks with her every day side by side. It's just he can still connect with them. But he also wants to see her moving forward and bringing in new relationships. He's like, I'll help her choose the right guy. It's like he wants to see her, finding peace, because he's at peace. He's come to terms with it. He realizes the big picture.
Thank you much.
Yep, you're welcome. This, when I'm done, I'll send you pictures of this that you can give to her, okay?
All right, thank you.
Yep. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye. All right, Kelly. Yours was interesting.
I bet. My
Well,
family
your grandmother, she was like a chatty kid. Like I didn't even have to, like, a lot of times I'll start to open and she's like, nope, boom, right here. And so what you're really showing me is like, you have generations upon generations of very spiritual and spiritually gifted people in your family. And
right.
The message, because you wanted to talk about when she was younger and trying to, that spell work. And it wasn't the spell work that caused, she's like, there wasn't anything that she was, this was, it was like a generational curse. She shows me going back generations, your family being cursed for like karmic reasons. And she's like, so literally what happened, she goes, she did the spell, but it wasn't, it was to break the curse in a sense. So that's why her hair turned white.
Okay.
She broke the karmic, she was like, I broke the karmic ties. I entered that circle. I didn't really anymore carrying that on, because I recognized as a little girl when I was still young enough, because we grow out of, that recognition as we get older. Passed on. The karmic ties were passed on to me. It was up to me to break the circle because nobody else was brave enough to do it. She said, I broke the circle so that I could pass that on to my family. And she's like, they'll feel the residue of the past life and that karma, but they won't deal with the actual karma. And then moving forward into like further lifetimes, it's no longer you, it's gone. So it's not something you guys will have to carry with you, into the future. And she just shows me, like, when I tap you back into that 3 past life, she showed energy, and like you guys were higher up, not necessarily like a king type energy, but maybe like a lord or somebody. I almost feel like Scottish in a sense, where oversaw a community. Does that mean like Vikings type thing, where you had the one Viking lord and they had the whole city that's under them, and there's several different Viking, pagan type communities around.
Wow.
So she showed me like, yeah, he was a male and he was our relative, but he was an asshole. It's getting huge chills all over. So like my whole body's like, oh, and he's like, she's like, because they're all, you got a lot of people talking. Just give me a second. Okay. So what he's showing me is like unfairness and unjust. So would come to him to make decisions. Like this telling me they're standing in front of him, and this person did this to their neighbor, and this person did this, and he was okay. Well, you have to give them so many animals to make up for this. And so what he shows me is an elderly woman and standing and waiting for justice. And because for some reason he was biased, he didn't make the right choice, and because angry, she cursed him. So after that, things for his kingdom, and I don't think he was a king, but he was just the overlord of that area, it started to roll downhill. And it's a curse that each generation has carried on throughout the family. And so the person find themselves doing okay, and then all of a sudden everything just shit hits the fan and it's at your feet in a sense. She recognized that curse and she did to use that spell work, and she broke that curse. She goes, that's why the hair turned white. It was the residual effects. And she's like, in lifetime, you still might feel the residual effects, but you won't feel the full on effects. And continuing on from future life, in life, like, so this one ends, the next one you will not carry forward ever again. It's done. It's complete. The karmic ties are done. And so like she gave a piece of her energy to meet that, I don't want to say meet the maker, but to make it even. She gave a piece of her energy.
Right. That was long before. Yeah, it was long before. It was before my mother was even born.
Yep.
So
that's what she shows me.
did she say?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Oh no, did she say about why my mom is so mean? Because my mom was even mean to her at the end of her life.
I feel like your mom is just so the first thing that starts popping in my head is the scars. There's a lot of anger, a lot of things onto, and this is mini past. So this is a past life thing too. So I feel like God, I almost wonder if your grandma was that male in the past life. You see what I'm saying? That's that generational curse.
Oh yeah, she was very like when we would go out for dinner and stuff, when she was done, she would say, James, go get the car. That was my grandpa. So, and I mean, he did everything for her. She was like a princess.
Uh-huh.
To him.
The royalty.
And I mean, oh yeah, I mean, like totally. But yet very giving. She let her sister move in when she was end stage colon cancer. She let her friend's son move in. She let people live in her house all the time. They had a big, huge house. She let people live in there all the time because she was just that giving. She never asked for anything in return.
Yep.
But yeah, when my grandpa, when we would go to Florida, and my grandpa one time got on the turnpike, he said, I did not drive to Florida to take the highway. And so he had to back up, get off the turnpike and go back road to Orlando. It was, but yeah.
She was bossy.
Bossy. Yeah, like beyond. But I mean, she was so good to me, It was,
No, I think with your mom, there's just that resentment of herself and resentment of, I don't know, like she showed me the feeling of never being good enough.
My mom never being good enough.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I can feel that. Now my mom is still alive. And my mom used to tell me when I was a little girl, I don't know why you like your grandma so much. She never loved me. Like my grandma never loved my mother. And so it's like, I'm from such a toxic family. I recognize this. I mean, my grandparents were great to me, great to other people. My mom, somehow or another, just kind of, I don't know. She's like narcissistic and she's a pathological liar. And I could tell you hours of stories of where she would lie to my father right to face. And we would have known the truth. Like my dad worked, I don't even know, but my dad had money taken and my mom took it and bought us clothes. And she was like, I don't know what happened to it. You know what I mean? And I know this is being recorded, so I better be careful. But it's just kind of crazy. So I don't know.
No, I think, that pathological liars are just truth that she is not willing to face. And it stems back from a long, long time. And I don't think it was a lack of love from your grandmother. I think she just loved in a different way. So like you said, she's really bossy. If she had a certain way that she wanted to have things done. It's sort of like me. I could be kind of bossy in a sense. Like my kids accused me. They said, "Well, you're cold-hearted." I said, "No, I'm not honest."
Right.
One day you'll be old enough to recognize there's a difference. There's a difference
Right.
between being honest and then, sugarcoating everything. She wasn't the type
Right.
to sugarcoat. And
No, she was not. She worked. So back in a time where it wasn't usually a 2-person income family, she worked. She worked for her cousin's dealership. And so my mom felt she wasn't around. She stayed with my grandma's sister a lot. Like my grandma's sister babysat her because she didn't work.
from that generation, she probably didn't understand that. She thought that was a lack of. So she had.
Yeah,
she
I'm sure.
That resentment and that anger for you.
Could very well be. So
that
I'm just not
towards the mom, and the resentment toward you is you got the affection from her that she never got.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so then that's why she's not nice to me, even still to this day. I mean, my parents are a little bit out there.
It is. I don't think it's a lack of love for you. It's just sometimes too, when you hold on to that resentment for so long and you don't recognize it for what it is, it's hard to let go because it's all you've ever known. So when you carry a certain energy around with you for years upon years upon years, to have that stripped away from you, you're kind of left without your identity, so to speak. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So it really has nothing to do with you. It's all about her. All you can do is send her love, even though she doesn't send it back.
Oh my gosh, they're so toxic. I don't have any communication. I mean, just an example, we went to, do you remember when the gas crisis happened down in like the Carolinas where they weren't getting gas? So we were going to Tennessee and then Asheville, North Carolina, and then we were going to go to South Carolina. We put that on pause because we weren't finding a lot of gas, but we had gone there, and my mom called me, and this is a whole nother thing. She goes, and I don't know if she's telling the truth or not, but she's like, so are you on your trip? And I'm like, yeah. She goes, well, you know, there's a gas crunch down there. And I'm like, yeah, Mom, we're aware. And she goes, well, don't tell your dad I let you know. He said to just let you go and do your thing and not tell you that there's a problem down there. And I'm like, you people are weird, because you know, you're just weird. And I'm like, yeah, I won't tell Dad. You told me. And I'm just like, I'm 54 years old. I know how to navigate a trip. I was just like, and then to have one parent say, don't tell the child, it's nuts.
Yeah.
And that's
But
a
this
whole
is-
nother reading.
That's just like, you know, trying to steal that energy. It's sort of like that
Right.
psychic vampire thing.
Yes, it's weird. It's weird. And I just don't know how to navigate that. It's weird.
It's really just not feeding the energy back into it, or just saying, all right, thank you. And be
Yeah,
done with it.
I'm gonna have to work on that, because my way to work on it is just I pull myself away from the scenario, and I live 5 hours away, and I'm like, I'm just gonna live my life in Northern Michigan. I have a daughter here, I have a grandchild, you know, and it's like I try not to. And when people always say, don't let toxic people in your life, get rid of them, it's like, okay.
Nope.
It's your family, and it's pretty sad, you know, but
No, all you
I don't
can
know.
do is live the best life you can. That's it. You know,
Right,
that's all you can
right,
do.
right. Wow, that's crazy. So was my grandma a happy person in her,
Yes.
in your
She was kind of like a
communication?
chatty Cathy. I could tell she was bossy because, like
Yeah.
I said, I didn't even really need to start the channel. She was just there, and she's like, "This is us." I'm like, "Okay."
I knew she would be. I told you that. I knew she would be ready for something like that.
Uh-huh. Yeah, she was pretty bossy. It was funny. But I like it like that because at least I don't have any questions about what's coming through.
And is she at peace?
She is definitely at peace.
She lived into her 80s.
Yeah, and she kind of shows me that she's happy. She's like, I'm happy to be done. So that's much better.
Oh, I bet.
And I can do what I want. I'm just happy to be over all of that. Because it's just
When my grandpa passed, she kind of went downhill kind of fast after my grandpa passed. So,
Yep.
wow. So are you going to do these again? I'm going to watch your recording of others. This is fun.
Yes. Yep. I'll be doing another one at 3, and then what I'll do, I'll spend tonight, like, kind of not really editing it, but I'll put it together, and then sometime tomorrow I'll release it live on Facebook, and then you'll be able to watch it there.
Oh my. I'm nervous.
No. I thought it was a really good reading, so.
Oh, good. Thank you so much, Mary. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. We'll talk to you later.
All right.
All
Bye.
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 Yeah, this reading.
That's up to her. It should be okay. Are you okay with that, Robin?
Yeah, I don't care.
All right. All right. So we will just get started. I have more people that'll be joining in all the time. So we'll just go from there. All right. So Robin.
Okay.
You wanted to know about like the movie. And if you're going to be doing it soon later. So the first thing I really started channeling was literally your path has already been chosen, and it's time for you to start hitting the open road. So I feel like that the answer for you is yes, you are definitely going to be moving sooner or later, but I do feel like the choice is going to be made for you. So like you're going to have a scenario or a situation happen where you don't have a choice but to just go. And then they started feeding me information. It was like something about like digging for gold and finding that hidden treasure. And I really just feel like that's a big message for you. That this move is going to be a good move for you. So even if you have some questions in the back of your mind or some doubts, know that it's exactly what you're supposed. They're like, it's all about divine timing. So when everything is in place, you're going to be making that move. But don't have any worries. Just have faith it's all going to work out, because it's the move that you should be making. It's going to be a good thing. But it's definitely going to be here sooner than later. I would say less than 3 months, you're going to be making that move. And I really do feel, and it's connected with like a male energy, that this would be this choice is going to be made for you than you think. The next thing I started channeling was like it. They're showing me that it feels like you've been waiting forever, like in limbo, like the decision made. Like it's like decision. Decision and decision, decision and decision. And it's like the wheels are spinning. And it's all about, okay, so when the heck's it going to happen? Tired of being, it's sort of like you're not one of those people who like to wait. For an answer, you just want to do. You just want to go. You just want to be. You don't want to have to wait for anybody else that has a part in it. You just want to go. It's and sometimes it's like when we're a take charge kind of person, it's hard. Hard waiting for everybody else to catch up in a sense. And you're one of those people. People that are always waiting for other people to catch up. This decision is definitely going to be impacted by that male energy, like I said, but you're going to be moving forward and like you have everything covered. Everything's going to fall in place. And the move's going to happen faster than you even realize. But everything is working out perfectly the way it's supposed to. Does that make sense?
Yes and no.
Okay. What questions do you have?
Really none at this moment.
Okay, so what parts didn't you connect with? And maybe I can clarify on that for you.
Like the within 3 months.
Okay, so I feel like this move is going to be happening in less than 3 months for you. Like it's coming sooner than you think. And I really feel like I keep on seeing there's this male energy that has an impact on that move. And so it's going to be something that you're not expecting, but all of a sudden, boom, it's going to be time before you even realize it. It's sort of like you've been planning on a certain way of doing it, and it's not going to happen that certain way. You're going to have to go with the flow of it.
Okay.
Do you have any kind of questions at all?
No.
Okay, and so what did you connect with?
Um, I don't know. I think I'm still I guess what's the word? Not thinking about it, but understanding it maybe.
I'm trying to come to terms with the move.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's understandable. I feel like that's where the message is, not to worry about the move so much. That it's exactly what you're supposed to be doing, even if you have fear, or you're still trying to come to terms with it, that you're going to wind up exactly where you're supposed to be. That it's exactly, there's going to be abundance that comes with this move, even if you can't see it right now. You're being placed exactly where you're meant to be.
Okay.
Okay. It's sort of like one of those have faith things. Have faith that it's going to turn out exactly the way it's supposed to be. Because sometimes, especially when you haven't made up your mind, and that's why I feel like, for me, where I feel that energy coming in where something's going to happen and you're not going to have a choice but to do it now. Now it's sort of like those wheels are spinning and the universe says, no, this way, so we're going to force it in. And sometimes especially when the decision's not complete. Completely ours, and we have qualms about the move. We don't like that, but it's sort of like it's a test. To make you have faith.
I
Are you still there?
I am.
Okay. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Okay. Are you sure you don't have any questions?
Not at this moment. I do not.
Okay. Well, if you change your mind, just send me a message through Messenger. I'll answer any. Anything that I can answer for you, okay?
All right. Awesome. Thank you, Mary.
Yep, you're welcome. And but
Right.
you're always already a very spiritual person. So you have like a, almost like a higher calling and a sense of what you're supposed to be doing. And they're like, because what they started showing me was like everything is coming full circle at last. There's going to be a lot of moving forward into they're like your final destiny. And what's meant to be is meant to be. And so I really feel like it's like a higher calling for you. Then I had like, a female energy come through, like a grandmother type energy. And she's like, you know this, you already know this because I've talked. Taught you well, and you know exactly what you're supposed to be doing and how you're supposed to be doing. Doing at the times come. It's time to take it to that next level. And like it's she's like, the time has come at last. So you need to forget about the past, forget about everything. She's like, forget about everything you kind of learned, go with the things that go with the intuitive flow and go with the things that you know, like the ancestral. Flow. Forget about all the basics on the here and now. Now because it doesn't really matter. It's like you're being called to like a higher form of magic. In a sense, is what she's showing me. It's like a higher power. You know, and again, it was like everything has circles, so I feel like that a cycle has come to an end. And you have to create the new beginning because the shift is here. Is a time to take it to that next level. But you have to get out of your own way. I think that's what I'm going to be one of your biggest obstacles.
Right.
Is getting out of your own way. That overthinking and trying to figure out those scenarios. Where it's like you don't have time to stop and think, you just have to go and do it in a sense. Because you know, she's showing me there's a new way of seeing, a new way of being, and it's time for you to shake things up, there's going to be something, there's something big coming to your area. Like, where you live, and it's really going to shake up your area. It's going to raise the vibration of it, but it's going to be, they're showing me like a huge impact. And it's like, even though it seems like devastation, it's really not. For the lower vibration people, it's going to feel like devastation. To the area, but you're going to know that it's different. It's all about raising that vibration. It's about clearing out that old energy so that that new energy can come in, but you have to clean out the old energy. And so the people who don't vibrate to the newer energy, they're going to see it as a devastation. You have to play the role in raising that vibration, because it's all about the darkness and the light.
Right.
Does that make sense to you?
Absolutely.
I feel like you
100%.
have to, I feel like really you already know it's coming. And I get the chills with that. So I feel like you
Right.
already know that it's coming. For you.
Yeah. Isn't it funny? Like you have this, I don't want to say it that way. It's not that way. It's almost the almost the equivalent of a sense of impending doom. But
Yes.
it's not doom coming. It's just a change. Like a shift.
Mm-hmm.
Like kind of like when you I'm trying to think of a good metaphor. When you rearrange the furniture in your house, and you get up the next morning and you bump into your couch. I feel like the furniture is moving, you know.
Yeah, and I
that's a
feel
good,
like
is that a good,
yeah, and I feel like the doom will be for people who don't understand the vibration. The ones that don't. Don't really get it. It's going to feel like doom to them. But it's not. It's just a shift.
right? It's the natural course of things.
Yes. Yeah. And it'll be kind of like you're going to be one of the people that have to help keep that vibe. It's sort of like, okay, she has to hold space. She has to hold space. With that vibration until other people can catch up. And then when everybody catches up to that vibration, of that frequency, it'll be time to move forward.
Right. I'm trying to take notes. I'm not ignoring you.
No, you're all right. I'll take a picture of what I channel too and send it to you.
Okay, thank you.
So do you have any questions on that?
Is it is the shift personal, like a shift like among friends? Family, or is it like a regional, like how big are we talking?
I feel impact is your community, the people around, everything around you. So like the town you live in, like it's going to impact all of that. And it's all about clearing out that old energy, even though it's going to seem dramatic to people who don't. understand it, it's going to be, you're going to get it. You're going to get why it's there, and therefore it won't have an impact. On you, because you know you're just holding space to raise that vibration. But I do get the word devastation. But I feel like that devastation's more of that fear. That people get from things that are changed. They don't realize what the whole purpose is.
Right. Wow. Okay. Okay.
Do you have any more questions?
I was wondering if I guess maybe it doesn't matter. Small way. Maybe it's like an amalgamation of everything. But I was wondering if we could you could maybe tell me something about my spirit guides.
Okay. Well, the biggest thing I get from you, well, the first thing that pops in my head when you say spirit guides, I see the male guide. But that grandmother, I feel like this grandmother in her energy, she belongs to you and she's ancestral and she's like, she's your guide too. And
Right.
so if you don't have a grandmother crossed over, she's your guide. But I feel like you met her on this plane as well. but it's
Right.
she's like, it's an ancestral thing. I've got to teach her because we go back generations upon generations. Past lifetimes. You go, we go way back, and she's got. I remember where she came from, in a sense. So she's like your main guy. She's very, very pushy, and she's very like all in. Like the time has come,
Right.
is what she's telling. Me. I do see that male guide. He shows me him. Standing there stirring a pot. So it's sort of like he's the one that gets things going, in a sense. Where
Right.
so anytime you're ready to go in, he's the one that he kind of stirs. This pot, and he gets everybody worked up, and he gets the energy moving for you. So when you feel like you're being energized, to do things, he's the one that's pushing you forward on